10 Possible Reasons for the Sadness of Thought. George Steiner's essay 10 Possible Reasons for the Sadness of Thought delves into the inherent melancholy associated with human cognition. Drawing from philosophical traditions, Steiner presents 10 interrelated reasons that underscore the paradoxes and limitations of thinking. Steiner posits that while human thought is boundless, it remains perpetually incomplete due to inherent contradictions and doubts. This incomplete infinity leads to frustration, as ultimate truths remain elusive. He states, "We will never know what is true or what the totality of reality is." Example: the quest for a theory of everything in physics exemplifies this dilemma, as each discovery often uncovers further complexities. Thought processes are often involuntary and chaotic, continuing even during sleep. This randomness can lead to mental exhaustion, and a sense of helplessness. Steiner observes, "Is it really possible to think straight? Only rarely do we succeed at the cost of absolute concentration." Example: the intrusive thoughts experienced during anxiety illustrate the uncontrollable nature of thinking. Thinking is deeply personal, no one can fully access another's thoughts. This isolation is paradoxical, as many thoughts are universally shared, leading to feelings of both uniqueness and banality. Steiner notes, "Our thoughts are universal to an overwhelming extent and are now, sooner or later, thought millions of times by others." Example: despite intimate relationships, individuals may feel misunderstood because their innermost thoughts remain inaccessible to others. Language, the medium of thought, is inherently ambiguous, hindering the pursuit of absolute truth. Steiner asserts, "Our language also runs counter to the monochrome ideal of truth and is always ambiguous and polyphonic." Example: literary texts often have multiple interpretations, reflecting language's inherent ambiguity. The human mind generates an overwhelming number of thoughts daily, most of which are repetitive or fleeting, leading to a sense of wasted mental energy. Steiner mentions, brain researchers assume that we think around 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts every day, of which 90% are completely repetitive. Example: the fleeting nature of creative ideas that are forgotten shortly after conception illustrates this wastefulness. There is often a gap between our thoughts and our ability to translate them into actions, leading to frustration and a sense of inadequacy. Steiner reflects, even an extremely carefully calibrated and focused movement of thought will only be imperfectly embodied, is merely a compromise of the ideal, a fiction of the absolute. Example: an artist's struggle to bring a mental image to life on canvas exemplifies this discrepancy. Thinking is relentless and often unproductive, akin to an unstoppable internal monologue that can obscure as much as it reveals. Steiner compares it to breathing, stating, "There are two processes that humans cannot stop during their lifetime, breathing and thinking." Example: the inability to switch off one's mind during attempts to relax or meditate highlights this incessant nature. The personal nature of thought can impede genuine empathy, as individuals remain confined within their own mental frameworks. Steiner suggests that thinking keeps us strangers from one another, prevents true empathy. Example: misunderstandings in communication often arise because individuals cannot fully grasp each other's internal thought processes. The disparity in cognitive abilities among individuals can lead to elitism and social inequalities, as original thinking skills are challenging to impart. Steiner observes, the enormous disparity between clever people and dull-witted ones, and the near impossibility of teaching skills of original thinking, leads to elitism and profound social injustice. Example: educational systems often struggle to bridge the gap between students with varying intellectual capabilities, potentially perpetuating social divides. When contemplating profound existential issues, thought often reaches its limits, leading to superficial agnosticism or extreme fundamentalism. Steiner warns, the capacity for thought shows its limits as soon as one tries to brood over the most important questions, being, death, God, and leads us into a glib agnosticism, or a dangerous religious fundamentalism. Example: philosophical debates on the existence of God often reach an impasse, reflecting the limitations of human thought in resolving such questions. Steiner's exploration highlights the complexities of human cognition, encouraging self-awareness about the limitations and paradoxes inherent in our thinking processes. Recognizing these aspects can foster humility, improve communication, and enhance empathy in daily interactions. Some scholars argue that Steiner's perspective may overlook the positive aspects of thought. For instance, in Curiouser and Curiouser, The Practice of Nonfiction Today, by Philip Lopate in the Iowa Review Volume 36-1, it is noted that the reasons Steiner offers for why thought makes us sad could just as easily be seen as a cause for celebration. Other scholars view Steiner's essay as overly melancholic, arguing that thought's paradoxes can also inspire joy and creativity. For instance, literary critic Terry Eagleton contends that the same uncertainties and ambiguities Steiner laments are the wellspring of art and human progress. Similarly, Richard Carney emphasizes that the richness of thought lies in its diversity and unpredictability. Conversely, thinkers like Theodor Adorno align with Steiner's perspective, linking the melancholy of thought to the alienation inherent in modern society. Adorno writes, "To think is to negate, to estrange oneself from what is taken for granted." Steiner's essay offers a deeply reflective exploration of the sorrows and paradoxes of human thought, grounded in philosophical traditions. By examining the inherent contradictions, limitations, and isolations of thinking, he provides a framework for understanding the emotional weight of cognition. While his work emphasizes the melancholy of thought, it also invites readers to embrace its complexities and strive for greater empathy, humility, and awareness in everyday life. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you appreciate the video and keep updated on our upcoming content.